Hi everyone, this is Jenny Garcia, and in this video I'm going to share a flip through of my journaling, my book journal mini book. And this one is from last year, from 2022, and this is the first part. I read a lot last year. I haven't been able to do the same this year because my brain's not working. At the beginning of the year I got COVID, and then I watched a lot of Sister Wives, and that just melted my brain. I'm blaming it on Cody too, man. But this is the first part, and I'm really excited to show you what I've done. I'm working on the second part right now, and I'm not planning to do that for 2023. I'm just gonna add them to my regular project life. It's just I don't need extra projects. I already have so many. But I did really enjoy making this one, and I'm glad I made it. So this is I believe this is 4x6, and it is from Everyday Explorers, and this is one of the mini book makers club book. And you can also get these mini journals without the kit. They're different ones. So I do wish that I went a little bit bigger, because then I started to read a lot more, and it was kind of like difficult. Like I said, this is part 1, and I'm pretty sure that part 2 is going to be just as chunky, which I love my chunky projects, you guys know that. And in the first page, the background, this paper is from Syncopation Design. I believe that's how you say it. And these items are from Feed Your Craft, and man, I miss Feed Your Craft so much. And then I made some of my own stickers, and this is the stamp set that I use. They're also digital versions, and if you're not really a stamper, they're a really great option to making your own stickers. So what I did was put all of these in the Silhouette app, and then just I believe I used the overlay, or I used the overlay and cut a bunch of them, especially this one. You're gonna see this one a lot. I also went through a bunch, and this little itty bitty rating stamp is this one. I love both, but using the small ones in this format was really helpful. And actually, the original color of this paper is, the background is blue and the lines are white. So that's another reason why I love using digital collections, because you can change the colors. Now, this is a review of the books that I read in 2021. I did read some books with my kids. I did that last year too. And I actually am doing it right now with my daughters. I've listened to a lot of Dork Diaries. And this is just a recap of the things that I read last year. I think the best book I read last year, I think it was actually I have a top 3. Division, which is a comic book, but it was so beautifully written. Beyond Belief, which is a book by Jenna Miscavige Hill, and she is the niece of David Miscavige, which is like the leader of Scientology. I love cult books. And then Scythe was a really good one, which is about, it's a dystopian future. And in January, I wrote my notes in my handwriting. I used the Tombow Twin Tone dual tip markers, the fine tip. But it was a lot, and I had to edit myself a lot. And it was kind of difficult. My favorite book that month was A Very Punchable Face by Colin Jost, and I really liked it. It was really funny, and also made the little stickers. In February, I did the same with my handwriting and the Tombow monodroming pen. Pretty sure this was the 02, which is my favorite one. And this side with the collage I did with Canva. Now, it was very convenient, but I didn't like it. I just like making little cuts, adding a lot of, you know, stickers and decorations. So if you're a simple person, this is a good option to just do a collage of the books that you read on Canva, and then you can just write whatever you want. And here I change my format, so I take a lot of notes of the books that I read on my phone, and I just added these little notes to the books. And it was a good month for reading. I think all the books that I read were good. The least one that I liked was A Lullaby for Witches. It has a beautiful intro. Like, from the intro, I thought that it was going to be like a slam dunk. But in the middle, it kind of got like too... I'm not a romance person unless it's included in something else. So when it got to romance novel, I was like, eh. But it's actually still pretty good. And I had to do 2 spreads in March. I read quite a lot. Oh my god, Ali Wong, I listened to her audiobook, and this is the book that every new mom should hear. I'm tired of this. Oh my god, motherhood is so nice. It is so nice. It is super magical, but it's also super weird. And I think that she really touches on that, and she gets very personal. And she talks about her experience as a mom, as a comedian, as an Asian American woman. I freaking love Ali Wong. She's very raunchy, so if you don't like bad words or jokes about genitals, just maybe skip her. But it's a very good, if you know a new mom, that's the book that you should get her, or the audiobook. In April, I continued reading the series of A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, and I love that series. It's the same world, but the story keeps changing and moving in a good way. I really like it, and I actually listened to the audiobook, and it's like a podcast, and it's so interesting. I love it. I read Cultish from Amanda Montell, and I love cults. I don't know why I'm so attracted to them. It's just so interesting. But this book is about, you know, how we use cultish language every day in our lives. How can every little community can be its own cult and have cult-like behavior. It's very interesting. I read a lot of graphic novel, comics. Read whatever you like. Don't let people be like, that's not a real book, because it needs to be from the 1800s and it needs to be 500 pages. No, if you like it, just read it. The Bridge to Terabithia was so sad. I know it's like an elementary book, but I didn't grow up in the United States. So there are a lot of books that I know they're popular here, so I try to read them, or I read them with my daughters. And that one was, man, that was heartbreaking. So sweet, so sad. The Whistler by Josh Grisham. He sucks. I don't know why he's famous. I'm sorry. I can't stand him. I don't like his writing. I read it for a book club. Not a good choice. Not what I voted for. I actually voted for, because first they voted for the genre, and it was like a thriller, mystery, stuff like that. And one of the options was A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, and I voted for that one. And I ended up reading it, and it was so much better. You see, the sad part is the people that voted for this book, for The Whistler, didn't go to the meeting, and I had to suck up the stupid book. And people didn't go. May. So I read The Lions of Little Rock with my oldest daughter. Like I said, I love this whole spread. These flowers are from Studio Calico. The paper, the bus is from Humble and Create. And I'm sorry that I forgot about it. A lot of it, it's Everyday Explorers, like this one. This one also. So far, yeah, lots of Everyday Explorers. I read American Gods. It was really good. It was weird. which I like. I like weird books. And then I read Carmilla, the book for the actually, yeah, this is May also. So the book that my book club picked for May was Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover. I'm sorry, I hate Colleen Hoover. That book was it was so bad. I hated it. I hate the characters. I hate the fact that there is no character development. They're so vapid. They're so stupid. And you know what? If you enjoyed it, I'm glad that you got your time's worth. But after reading that book, I was like, I want my time back. Can I have it back? Now, unlike Carmilla, when I read it, it's beautifully written. I love. It's beautiful. It's a little bit anticlimactic, but the farther away I get from it, the more I appreciate it, and the more I appreciate its impact in, you know, the genre of horror. And the genre of horror is overly descriptive, and it's too much. I recently finished Salem's Lot, and I didn't like it. And I think he's a good writer, but I don't want to hear about the 27 colors in the tree outside of your window. It's not something that I enjoy, unless it's, you know, poetically, and it has to be like I'm very particular about that. And then I read Love, 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 which is a weird comic book, and I love that. It's so weird. I need to finish that series. And then I did June, and I read Dry, and this one was recommended by my husband. Now, my husband has good taste in books. I hate reading stuff that he has read, because he will come in the room and he's like, hey, then I got to the part where big spoiler, and I'm like, I will contemplate divorce if you do that again. I swear to God, I hate it. It's the best book I read last year. It was so, so, so good. It will have you being paranoid. Like, in the first like chapter, you're gonna be like, okay, I gotta hoard water. I have to get you know, whatever. I had to get my supplies in my life in check in case something happens. It's just, and I got a quote from that book here, and it says, no matter what we believe we would and would not do, when it comes down to saving the lives of the people we love, we will sacrifice our own conscience. We will become the monster, if becoming the monster saves them. So I love it. And I did this sticker with my handwriting and with Procreate. And I use, to make all these stickers, I use my Cameo 4. Now, I read The Witness Wore Red. It's a really good book. It's about the FLDS cult, you know, and Warren Jeffs, and she was actually married to Rulon Jeffs, which was Warren Jeffs' dad. And it's a great story, but I hate Rebecca. And it sounds so harsh, because it's easy for me to hate a fictional character. You know, if I hate someone that doesn't exist, then maybe the author is a little bit even pleasantly, you know, maybe they like that, because maybe that's the reaction that they wanted to get from you. But Rebecca is a real person. Here's my issue with Rebecca. She tells this whole amazing story of growing up, and actually her sister wrote Stolen Innocence, which I read the year before, and it was very good, but it was written from a very humble point of view. Not Rebecca's. Elisa Wall. And it was about her and how she saw the world. Rebecca makes a lot of judgment about women who stay in the FLDS, which I think it's crap, because if you've been there, if you know how they are brainwashed, how they grow up, and she's like, I'm not like the other girls. And I'm like, why are you crapping? Because she talks like garbage about people like Caroline Jessup who left the FLDS and wrote her own book, and it's on my list of things to read. And now, like, going through, you know, these reviews is kind of getting me inspired to read a little bit more, because I've read a few books this year, but nothing like I did last year. And whatever you are at your journey, if you read one book this year, if you read 0 and you want to read at least one page, you know, you gotta honor that. I just wish I could concentrate, but my brain is really, like, I got COVID and it hasn't left my brain. It's really frustrating. So yeah, interesting story. I hate Rebecca. I hate saying that because she's like a real person. I don't think she's bad. I just think that she's self-righteous and so sanctimonious, and she's like, everyone was praising me and they love me so much. It's like, girl, jeez, get a grip. The Midnight Library, another book that month we read 3 books for the book club, because eventually it was just 2 of us going to the meetings, and we were like, you know what, we're gonna pick books that we want to read and we'll discuss them. And it was like, it changed the whole vibe, and it was so good. And I love reading with my book club partner. She is awesome. And so we read The Midnight Library because we've been hearing a lot about this book. And I'm pretty sure that either you read it or, you know, you've at least heard about it if you like books. And I didn't like it. I don't like Nora. It's hard for me to say something without not spoiling, and I don't want to spoil it for anyone that reads it. There are a lot of people who read it and they're like, yes, this is the book that I want. It changed my perspective. It's about this woman who gets to take a peek at what would have happened if she taken a different route in her life and did other things. And interesting concept. I heard it and I'm like, this is freaking cool. And actually, when it starts and explains what the library is, it's super interesting. I loved it. But when I read it, the more I read it, the more I disliked it. And at the end, I was just reading it to finish it because we were going to discuss it and to hate a little bit on it, honestly. And then, okay, what other book we read? Oh, and then we read They Both Die at the End. Can I add a little sticker about book club selection? Or are they all too big? I need to make one that is kind of smaller, because this is the smallest. Actually, this one. No, that's the current favorite. Where's the book club one? But yeah, the Both Die at the End. It's so sad. It's a really sad, sweet book, and it's really interesting. It's like there's this service that calls you to let you know that today is the day that you're gonna die. And of course, when you hear that you're gonna die, you think about all these different things that you want to do on your last day. And these 2 kids that they're both gonna die that day meet because there's also a service where you can connect with other people that are about to die. And you know, and it was very sweet and I loved it, but it was so sad. And man, there are characters that I really hate. And I read a few Pride books for this month. I got this paper on Etsy. It's like a graphics pack. Sadly, there's not many Pride collections in the scrapbooking world. Shocker, since it's very, very conservative community. And I actually posted a process video for this, and I lost like 15 followers just for posting it. Didn't add anything else. So that's the community for you. The letters are from Everyday Explorers, and then I read Galaxy, the Prettiest Star, which is it's a graphic novel. The illustrations are so beautiful and such an interesting story. It's about an alien and she's on Earth and she's under a threat, so she has to hide who she really is. And one of those things that she has to hide is her identity as a woman, and she feels out of place because that's not who she really is, and she meets a girlfriend, and it's so sweet, and it ends like in a cliffhanger. So I have to look for the second part. It's from DC. And I read Heartstopper. Oh my god, Heartstopper is so sweet. And Netflix did a perfect job, you know, with the casting, with the situations, with how they add the little Alice Osman little doodles. And I am already not prepared for volume 3 because it is such a heavy topic, and it's so it's beautiful. If you can read Heartstopper, read it. I can't talk today or any day. Now this one, I only had one book left, and it's a comic book about the Stonewall riots. It's one of the things that you should read if you're studying Pride. I read it with my daughter. They had it in a library display, and I thought that it was perfect because it's this group of friends who travel to the past, and they meet Marsha P. Johnson, and they meet Sylvia Rivera, and they can see how it was back then, and it gives them a little perspective, and it teaches them to appreciate all the effort of all the people who have brought them, you know, to today, where they can get married, where they can, you know, there are a lot of things that are threatened about that. We have made strides, but we're still working towards more of that. And I was thinking about the other day, I have a daughter who's pansexual, and she's 14, and it made me think about all my friends that had to hide in the closet, and now they're like finally with who they love, and how much better it would have been for them to just live their truth and be with people they love. So it makes me sad for them, and it makes me incredibly grateful for my daughter. It gives you some perspective. I did this with a digital stamp from the cut shop and a foil quill. I'm still learning the kinks through it. And this is a sticker from oh my god, the Passion Planner pack. And this is just, you know, from January to June, and I added more stuff from In a Creative Bubble, but this is just to close it, and then in the next one I will work July to December. So, and I just finished it technically, so this was a lot of fun to make. I hope you enjoy this flip through and my ramblings. Let me know if you read any of these books. I didn't go into every single book I read because, you know, it would be a lot of talking. But if there's something that you recognize here and you want to share your thoughts with me and you want to give me your opinions, like, please do. I will love a chat. Rebecca, don't hate me. It's just that you're kind of mean. And yeah, let me know which spread was your favorite. I love the Pride spreads. Aren't they cute? Just love the paper. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you're having an awesome day. Bye!